So the white lion is also symbolically a symbol. There's a priest by the name of Credo Mutwa, South African priest. He transcended some years ago. But when it comes to metaphysics, when it comes to the understanding of the Anunnaki, when it comes to understanding black magic, he's one of the top, individuals to be able to disseminate and provide that type of information. Matter of fact, I know a lot of people know the name David Icke, and David Icke got a lot of his information from Credo Mutwa. He actually got interviews with him and everything, and he always bigged him up, So Credo Mutwa spoke on the white lion and said that the white lion is a symbol that when it appears, that means that it's time for the earth to be cleansed. It's gotten to such a point that when it appears, that it's a symbol, it's a sign that the earth is going to be washed now, that there's going to be something that's going to come in order to flip everything over.
Foreshadowing.
That's right.
Wow. Good people, what's up, what's good, man? Today we got a very special episode. I got a phone call from my man KT. Anytime I get that phone call, man, I know it has to be something good. He's back for another episode. And man, before we even get started, let me tell y'all about the master decoder himself, bro. Man, he's been doing this for 10 plus years, man, 10 plus years. And this film that just came out on Netflix, everybody's been talking about it. What they say, Easter eggs now, right?
Right.
But actually it's decoding, figuring things out, seeing the message within the message within the message. So, man, again, I'm blessed to be your host, Caleb Smith, and we're about to delve deep into leaving the world behind with my brother KT. How you feeling today, bro?
I'm feeling great, man.
Yes,
Always feel good to be here, man.
Always, man, bro. It's an honor. And bro, when I saw the film, when you called me, bro, when you texted me, I was like, okay, I got to check this out, bro.
Yes.
Because, man, I love movies. I love film. Each time, like, when we see each other, it's always like, yo, have you seen X, Y, and Z? Yes. Nah, I got to check this out. So, bro, when you said watch this, I was like, I already know it's not going to be trash. Because, y'all, everybody has, like, that one friend who always says, yo, this show is fire and it's not. This movie's fire and it's not. Man, leaving the world behind, bro. When I saw that, like, the first scene, it was crazy. So, bro, what we probably have to do is just break this down piece by piece for the people to like digest it, understand it easily.
You don't want me, I'll get carried away and
that's
just eat it up. You know what I'm
that's
saying?
Okay, brother.
But yeah.
Man, yes, sir. So when you first saw the film, what were your initial thoughts, I'll probably say, in the opening scene? And man, even before the opening scene, I would say, names, right?
Yes.
Let's like start off with that. What people don't understand is characters have to live through their names. So people aren't given names just to be given names, right?
Right.
Opening scene, right?
Yes.
Talk about Clay, he's laying in the bed. Talk to me, man. What'd you think of the first scene, molding the clay, basically?
Exactly. So initially, we see a room that's all blue. Julia Roberts stayed wearing blue through the whole movie. So we see that there's obviously a color theme through this film, you know?
Sure.
And me talking about health and wealth all the time, always go in the light. And I tell people how this blue light toxicity is one of the main effects that is the reason why we're having all these health issues today coming from the devices.
Yeah.
The same thing that is offering us comfort, right? And convenience is the same thing that's affecting our overall health. And it's no coincidence that that same color blue is what's used by Democrats. And that's also a color of the deep state, as well as manipulation of the mind and brainwashing. So we see this same color being used. But, when we think of blue, blue makes you calm, it makes you sleepy. So we initially see who was supposed to be the man of the household, Clay, right? Sleep in the bed.
Chilling.
But his wife, she up and at it.
Come on.
She ready to go.
Planning
she packing up.
vacations.
That's what I'm saying. He's like, what you doing, yo? And it's deep because on one side, it's a good thing because it's a woman knowing her man. And like, when women want things, when they really know their man, they know how to deal with him. They're not going to come at him, making him do nothing breaking him down or anything like that. They're
Yeah.
gonna appeal to his ego. They're gonna appeal to his character and his personality. So she was like, I know he don't like doing this, that, and the third or whatever. So I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna find a place. I'm gonna book it. I'm gonna pack. I'm gonna do all that. And then when I bring it to him, how he gonna say no? So you saw how he was. He was like,
Okay.
bet, let's roll.
Take me, baby.
Let's roll.
Dang,
you know?
that's crazy.
But what really stood out, you know, in that scene too was he was in the bed, he was sleeping, and there was a clock and there was a coffee cup and books and there was stuff in the background. And when you look at the background and pay attention to the different numbers, you see a succession of 666 in the background back there. And you also see along some books that there's witchcraft, there's a book on witches as well. So we know we're dealing with energies, we're dealing with spells, we're dealing with hidden meanings. Then she goes from this excitement of wanting to go out of town, like she just had this intuitiveness, like, yo, we need to go.
That's right.
Which, you know, same thing with us, you know, we supposed to know when to go. To women are the ones that have that strong intuition, and they'll let us know, like, yo, I think we need to do this, I think we need to do that, and we're supposed to take that in and, you know, and lead with that, you know. So she just had this vibe, yo, we need to get up out of here.
Something's
to her,
not
it was
right.
just a break. Not knowing that, it was like, yo, the shit about to hit the fan, and we need to get up out of here.
Right.
But the scene closes with her looking out that window at a higher ground, right?
That's the production company,
Because that's the production company by the Obamas
Yes,
that
sir.
did this film, executive produced, and she looking down at all the people talking about you know what I've come to realize? I hate people. That's a bold statement to make.
Come on. Hey, y'all. Listen, man. Hey, we about to cook with this one. I promise you this. I hate people, right? Another message on the way there, right? Was it Fort Mose, I believe, that showed up on the sign? Yeah,
so after the next scene, after they pack up and they get in a car, they're driving.
Right.
We see the son in the back seat. He's playing the shoot 'em up game.
That's right.
Killing. So that's all death, gun, shooting. Yep. You got the daughter, right, looking at friends on the tablet, right? And then it stops working because they're kind of in the outskirts where the signal isn't working anymore, right? At least that's what they think at that time. And she gets frustrated because, you know, that episode, you know, we look at TV, we look at sitcoms and all of the old family shows and stuff like that. It gives us dopamine and a sense of security. You know, our family isn't perfect. The family on TV isn't perfect either, but this fantastical family is as close to perfect as I would like. I want this family more than I want my family. So she's in the back seat, and they're driving towards this place, and they come to the exit, and the exit says Fort Mose and also Comfort Point.
Yep.
So they go Comfort Point, and Fort Mose was the other exit. And Fort Mose was actually a location, a fort down in Florida, right? That was responsible for being a settlement and a sanctuary for free blacks back in the day. So after slavery, this is, or even before slavery was abolished, actually, this was a region where black people were able to thrive and everything like that outside of slavery. Wow. You know, but my idea of slavery is a lot different than most because it wasn't so black and white where every black person was enslaved and every white person was a master. Some of us was masters too. You know what I'm saying? And we don't talk about that a lot. And then a lot of us were free because you can't have pictures of black people in affluent attire prior to 1865. But then at the same time, we were slaves. Like that was just slaves' night out. I don't think so.
They was just getting fresh, huh?
Yeah. With what money?
Wow.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I love that, man. Brother Rich, bro. Great presentation, man. Shout out
big shout out to Brother Rich.
Bro.
Yeah. Him and Kambada just dropped Holy Ghost 3.
Yo, y'all was vibing too, man.
The release party up at Alkaline Oasis, Mr. G's spot up in Brooklyn.
Look dope, man.
It was that album is a perfect album. When I'm talking about it's 19 tracks. You don't get that no more.
Mm-mm.
And when I say you could listen to it beginning to end, and it's a journey and an experience.
It's that quality.
Everybody wants to check out Holy Ghost 3. Brother Rich produced. So he's not just facilitating interviews and and also giving out all of this free conscious game to everybody in the world. He's also, focusing on acoustical mastery, coming up with these beats, and Kambata, he's putting down some lyrics that we need right now. So it was a great experience.
Yes, sir, man. Brother Rich, man, we appreciate you greatly. Back to the film. So they pull up. They're enjoying themselves at the home, of course, but they get to the beach, right?
Yes.
And on social media, everybody's scrolling. And the first thing that everybody is using, whether it's for the thumbnails, whether it's for the social commentary,
is that ship coming up on shore. The white lion.
Please break down its overall significance of what the white lion was and what it was supposed to represent.
Well, if you go back to that exit I was telling you about, they went Comfort Point. Well, Comfort Point Point Comfort is actually a location in Virginia where the first slave ship came, and it was called the White Lion, and it was in the year 1619. So this is where a bunch of slaves was brought up on shore in Virginia, which is interesting because in Fort Mose, those free people that were down there catching refuge in Florida, they were coming from Virginia, Hampton, Virginia, and Hampton, Virginia is pretty much the same region today that Comfort Point would be. So it's all related, the two of them. Even though in the movie it took place in Long Island, I just find it interesting that even though it's not Virginia, y'all naming those areas the same cities as that region. So the White Lion is also symbolically a symbol. There's a priest by the name of Credo Mutwa, South African priest. He transcended some years ago. But when it comes to metaphysics, when it comes to the understanding of the Anunnaki, when it comes to understanding black magic, he's one of the top, individuals to be able to disseminate and provide that type of information. Matter of fact, I know a lot of people know the name David Icke, and David Icke got a lot of his information from Credo Mutwa. He actually got interviews with him and everything, and he always bigged him up, So Credo Mutwa spoke on the White Lion and said that the White Lion is a symbol that when it appears, that means that it's time for the earth to be cleansed. It's gotten to such a point that when it appears, that it's a symbol, it's a sign that the earth is going to be washed now, that there's going to be something that's going to come in order to flip everything over.
Foreshadowing.
That's right.
Wow.
That's right.
So why was there no pilot, or not pilot, but a person that's on the boat, of course, the captain of the boat, no crew, no people on the ship, no crewmen, no nothing? Why was nobody on the boat?
Well, that goes into the other symbology of this, and the fact that, when we talk about law, like we don't understand that law in America is not common law, all right? Or rather, let me say law in the United States is not common law. The law in the United States is maritime law and admiralty law, and this is the law of the sea. This is the law of commerce. Everything here is commerce and transaction. Municipalities and magistrates, that is all commerce. So when you say commerce, this is the law of the sea, right? So everything pops off with an oil tanker coming from the ocean on shore, right? And we know what oil represents. Oil is the dollar. So we know about BRICS. We know about all of these nations that are coming together, right, in order to offset the American dollar. And they're known as BRICS. And they're doing that by destabilizing the oil that backs the dollar, because nothing backs the dollar, it's fiat. Gold used to back it at one point in time since, after the New Deal and the Great Depression took place. So oil is pretty much what's being utilized or connected to the dollar now. So we have an oil tanker that's coming from the ocean and is actually coming up on coming from the sea onto land. But when you hit land, when you're in the ocean and the boat hits land, that's called a bank. So even when we look at our financial institutions, a bank is also the term that we use, and that's another oceanic term, right? So we actually see the bank, and we see the oil tanker, and we see commerce, and we see admiralty or maritime law, right, coming up onto common law, which is called law of the land. Right? So by it coming up on the shore, we're seeing law of the land. And the reason why no one is operating it, and the reason why even GH said that later, is because in Admiralty, there is nobody operating. There's nobody in the seat. There's no president right now. There's no one running this country. There's people that are occupying the seats and giving the illusion. If you don't think that guy is some illusion, like he can't even walk, he can't talk, he don't know where the door is when it's time to exit the stage, but he's supposed to be running something.
Cars getting hit.
You know what I'm saying?
Cars getting hit.
So yeah, right. With the homeboy said, then they said, oh, it was a DUI or something. Bro. Like y'all just be coming up with everything.
Joe Wilder, man.
Right. So we don't have anybody. There's nobody operating anything right now because this is a de facto government that we're dealing with. And if there's a de facto government and there's no one at the wheel, there's no one at the wheel.
Come on.
You know?
Yeah.
And then of course we're dealing with AI, and with AI, everything being computerized, we have computers actually running all of the configurations and things now too.
That's right.
So if something happens to the computers, then something happens to how everything operates. And then you're gonna have things crashing on shore.
Come on.
Yeah.
Literally and figuratively as well.
Exactly.
Come on.
Multi-layered.
Archie, bro, he got on my nerves, KT. I'm like, yo, why is he always
you know
lost
it hurt my heart because I'm the arch degree.
See,
I'm
I know.
Why,
it's
why
like, yo, he let us
me
down
under the bus, son. I see what
you're
doing.
Down.
I see what you're doing.
Hey, you
trying to bang on me a little bit.
For sure. But bro, I was like, man, Archie, every single moment, bro, you don't have to be engulfed on your phone, right? So the White Lion, the ship landing on the bank. Archie is, of course, trying to run away, but before the boat even came in, what was he doing on his phone, trying to tell his mom, hey, so-and-so, yo, she's over here.
So Archie, you know, he was wearing a shirt through most of the movie called Obey.
Yes, sir.
He even had a sweater on, too, that said Primitive, too.
Yep.
So he's about obeying the lower nature. Now, it's two parts, it's two sides of this because, of course, as being a man, you in your adolescence, there's only one thing you're thinking about. It's about spreading that seed. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's what it is. And then you learn how to, okay, let me take this energy, let me cultivate this energy, let me
control
use this to create. Right. It's just like raw, unfiltered energy. You light a, you start a campfire. The campfire combusts and you see black smoke in the fire and it's just burning uncontrollably, right? But then you have the human body where you also combust, but all that energy is being directed on a multitude of metabolic paths in order to fuel a divine system, right? So this is how you're supposed to rise your nature as a man as you get older. But he's just representing the low rut of it all, right? Obey the lowest state. So when we first see him, it's to shoot him up. Then it's looking at the girls on the beach. Then it's pulling out the phone. Yo, can she come over? Then he looking at Ruth. Then he taking pictures of Ruth.
Then he
trying to rub one off in the room.
With the phone in
the hand. With the phone and everything.
Wild boy, bro.
You know what I'm saying?
Wild boy. Yeah.
So he got the Obey shirt on, and this is the reason why he suffered the most. This is why he was the one that was sick and throwing up and teeth falling out and all this stuff, because he was stuck there. And he had a job, and his job was to protect the woman. Who was the woman he had to protect? His little sister. But every time his sister came to him, he didn't offer any type of safety.
Brushing her off.
Not just brushed her off, but assassinated her character. Constantly broke her ego down, implemented fear, made her feel like she wasn't wanted, needed, respected, loved, cared for, or anything. It was almost as if she was a waste of time to him, you know? And if you're an older brother and you're supposed to be a young man becoming a man, like you're supposed to be there to protect your sister.
That's right. Come on, bro. Another thing, man, Archie again, always just pissing me off. I'm like, bro, the boat is right there. Y'all are about to get hit.
Oh, he was asleep. He was asleep, and his daddy was. The two men was
two
asleep.
men.
The two
Once
women
again,
was awake.
Clay and Archie, bro.
That's right.
Dumb and Dumber. So then Archie, bro, I see my man running away. KT, what's the first thing that he's doing? Filming it.
Filming it.
So,
Yeah.
yo, this is like a true microcosm of our society today.
That's right.
Our safety, that's not important.
Rose was in the front.
Rose is
She
in the
was
front.
gone. She the smallest, but the fastest.
Come on.
You know what I'm saying? She got the smallest
youngest
leg.
woman.
She was gone.
But Archie's doing this.
Yep.
Uploading
Filming.
it.
And
So
then
clout
Clay
is way more
is like,
important.
he wasn't even in the shot half the time. And that's just to show the recent men of that age group.
Yeah.
Because as much as we look at the youth and how they tripping, remember, children are a byproduct of parents.
It's the environment.
Right?
Yeah.
And we keep forgetting that the children that are growing up today are the children of crackheads and crack fiends, right? As well as heroin addicts. So we had the crack epidemic, right? And then we had the heroin epidemic with the opioids. These are the children of those people that grew up,
Come on.
right?
Wow.
So if you out there getting crack pipes and not watching your kids because you doped up and high from them Oxycontin pills, who raised your child? Family Matters raised your child. Step by Step raised them, right? Wow. Fresh Prince and Martin raised them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Who else? Ren and Stimpy and South Park raised them. You know,
The Boondocks for us.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So. Yeah, these are the children, you know, of that age group. And Clay, you know, he looked like he's some reformed fiend from back in the day, and you know, got himself
Eat
together.
the heart, bro.
And all
Yeah,
that.
he be looking messed up.
He
man.
be looking bad.
Yeah,
you know what I'm
he
saying?
still ain't got his teeth fixed.
And let's not forget who this guy is. This is the dude from Training Day.
Bro. Black people, bro. We
You
would
know
never
what I
let him live
mean?
that
We
down.
ain't never gonna let that. We know who that is.
That's the guy from Training Day.
Ironically enough, Denzel
come on.
was supposed to be Mahershala Ali's character, but walked away from the film.
Why do you think that was?
Well, you know, Denzel been in this game for a long time.
He got time for the game.
You know what I'm saying? So, you know, reading that script and seeing what was happening and seeing who was in charge, he probably was like, this ain't for me. In the direction it was going. Yeah. You know, because as much as Mahershala Ali was portrayed to be competent, he also was soft.
Emotionally incompetent.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He was extremely soft. And then he almost, his wife ain't even been dead.
And he already trying to get into Jonathan Majors 2.0.
He was dancing with Elaine from Seinfeld.
She couldn't even dance on beat.
You know what I'm saying? That's why I said she was dancing with Elaine, because that was the Elaine dance from Seinfeld she was doing. You know what I'm saying? That was horrible. I don't know what she was doing. And then the song they played was Next. Next is strictly a song of sex.
Yep.
You know what I mean? That is a sex song.
Yep.
That's the song you put up. He works for the Philharmonic. So we talking about cultured black folks.
He's sophisticated. He was trying to play jazz.
Right.
She was trying to turn up.
Showing the dichotomy of his type of music versus what Clay had on, which is the Bikini Kill shirt on, right? So he's trying to play some jazz, and she like, that's boring. Oh, that's my daughter's. That's my daughter's stuff. And she like, let's play your daughter's stuff, showing her mentality, you know, and then want to play, you know, blame it on being drunk.
What's new, huh?
You know
We've seen that trope before.
His wife dead. Your husband
is
upstairs. Right upstairs. Where's the husband with, though?
Talking to the daughter.
Talking to the daughter.
Born in 96.
Daughter talking about, have you ever had sex with any of your students before?
And she looks like a student.
Yep.
You feel what I'm saying?
That was just a wild scene, right?
Very
there.
ironic, huh?
Yeah.
So look, man, hey, y'all, I'm telling y'all, we about to unpack this, bro, for real. So, all right, Julia Roberts, her character.
Yes.
Amanda, like you said.
Yeah, Amanda.
Amanda. I feel you on that. What I found so crazy, but I'm like, yo, I see it because this is very symbolic. Amanda had so many preconceived notions and she was so prejudiced towards black people. However, she loved black culture.
Yes.
She was always playing black music. She was craving to play black music. But she didn't like black people.
Right.
And she was a white woman.
Right.
She liked black men, but she didn't like black people.
Right.
What did you think about Amanda's character.
Oh, that was Karen 3.0 right there.
She was a
playing.
different breed, bro.
But that just goes to show the relationship we have, you know, with the colonizer up in this country is the fact that they love the sports, they love the entertainment, they love the music, they love the sex, but don't respect the people. You see? And the whole aspect of, you know, this is our country, this is our land. We're called Moors not just because of the title, but because Moors is actually a name for a type of land, and we don't own the land, we are the land. Okay, we are the land personified. We are the divine aspect of the land in movement and in action, right? So people come and they end up taking the land over, you know, through rape and pillaging and manipulation and other means, right? And we have a lot to do with it too, you know what I'm saying? Because only reason why they was able to do any of that is because we gave them the keys and told them how to do it and sided with them and everything, right?
Nah, man.
Just like how they was dancing in the basement. It happened just like that, right? A good movie to look at is Killers of the Flower Moon.
I heard about that.
Oh.
Hey, that's my next homework assignment. I got you, bro.
Yo.
Decoding that next, y'all. Yo. Hey, we got to bring KT back for that one.
That one right there,
I got you. Hey, I'm going to tap in.
That's on Apple TV.
Yep.
And they even was talking about how diabetes and the insulin got created.
Hey, that's the next decoding. Yeah.
You got to check that out.
Y'all, hey, comment below, bro. So we got to bring it back for that one.
Martin Scorsese.
Yes, sir. He's a legend.
They went hard in the paint. But so black folks get themselves together, all right? We was already together. Like Tulsa is just one of many. Tulsa, Oklahoma, and Black Wall Street. And that wasn't a first of its kind. That's how we were.
Auburn Avenue, right down the street from here was that.
Yeah. We were striving. We were building cities. We've been here. We've been here.
Yeah.
You know. So, you know, we get it. We catch an L. And then we like, okay, we trying to get that dub back. So we getting ourselves together. We ain't trying to fight you. We ain't trying to kill you.
He was sophisticated.
We ain't trying to squash you. As a people, we ain't trying to do none of that. We just want to build our communities, thrive, get that bag, help our family, raise them seeds up.
That's right.
Right? Have community.
That's right.
And you can't even let us do that. Which is equivalent to them showing up at their house. Right? Because just like this country, it was an Airbnb that was rented, it was a property that was taken from another people. And when they showed up at their doorstep, they apprehensive to let them in the door. And while he's being the civil rights type, you know what I mean? Let my people go, like he on that tip with the hymns. The daughters that next generation lit like, yo, this is my daddy house. This is my daddy house.
It's a difference between the two generations, like how it is right now.
Exactly.
Wow.
Unapologetic. You know, and as much as we call Africa the motherland, most people don't know that this land is actually known as the fatherland.
That's right.
So it was interesting. She kept saying, my father's house, my father's property. He owns this. He owns this. This is his. This is his. And it is.
Yep.
That's why the black man is treated the way he is here, because we have so much power in this land. It's unheard of.
Hey, let's talk about it, right? So GH, he pulls up, nice whip, tuxedo, he's suited and booted, roof, looking great.
That's right.
And then we got Karen 3.0, Miss Amanda. They must be the help.
Right.
Handyman.
Handyman? And the maid and the cleaner.
And he's pulling up to his crib that you're renting from him.
Right.
How did you feel from seeing that entire scene?
I found it was quite ironic seeing that Julia Roberts' family couldn't afford the bill when she was born, so Martin Luther King and Coretta Scott King had to pay their hospital bill when she was born.
Sips tea right now.
You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
Martin Luther King and Coretta Scott King paid the bill for Julia Roberts' birth over 55 years ago.
Just to be a Karen on the big screen, huh?
Because she was born in Georgia.
Oh, wow.
You know, that's where she's actually from. You know, and let's not forget where she got her stardom was Pretty Woman. Where she was, you know what I mean? You can't turn a what into a housewife? You know what I mean? She's for the streets. She was in the streets when she started out. That's how that was her first character. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you know, she rose on up, you know, over the years and everything like that. But it's interesting how it came full circle to this film. And she played a phenomenal role. She did a phenomenal job in this film. Like everybody did a great job.
Yeah.
But she was like on it, especially when her and Ruth was inside the shed.
Yeah.
And Ruth gave it to her straight. She was like, yo, you being so short, mean, and disrespectful to me, talking about the priority of your family. Once again, y'all always want to talk about y'all family, and you act like we don't have families too.
That's right.
Right? And you have no empathy. Your family's still here. You just got a son spitting his teeth out. Yo, my mom's is gone. The same person that you are and how you feel, she'll never have that feeling towards me again. I'll never have this with my mother. And you up here complaining. And then what did she do? Then she got into the white fragility, right? Even though what she was saying was true and empathetic, he was able to reason with her giving the reason why she was acting the way she was acting. But still, it went into, she didn't break down enough to just acknowledge, yo, you absolutely right. I'm an asshole.
It's the white tears.
Right? Exactly. And this is why when she was in danger, she found the tire tracks to her daughter. Right? She could have just went.
Yeah.
Right? But she came back and stood ground to help, you know. So that I guess that was part of her like reckoning. Like, I got to do something, because if I want to survive all of this, I have to sacrifice. I gotta humble myself, you know. So she had to go back and deal with them deer, because Ruth was cornered, and Ruth was cornered by Abaddon.
That's what I was gonna ask you, because y'all in the film, it's a big buck. Like, he was huge. Like, you know, all the other deer, everybody's like showing up, but then all of them
parted.
They all parted.
Yes.
And the big dog starts walking up.
That's right.
In that moment, bro, I was thinking, yo, I think he might kill him.
Yeah, that's how we all
who
felt.
was he, KT?
So, like you said, I think he might kill him. So, just think about what you just said. When you see deer, or you walking through the jungle and you come across a lagoon and you bend a corner and you see a bunch of flamingos.
So it's like, all right, I can relax.
It's, oh my God, look at those. They're so beautiful.
And Clay, you remember, he was like, deer, that's a sign of a good omen. That's what he said.
So both deer and flamingos bring peace and tranquility and a sense of awe, you know, of nature, you know, and the divine, right? That pretty much calms the spirit, and it's healthy for your optics and everything, right? So to flip that to when the flamingos landed in the pool and they like, oh yeah, things is really upside down. Things is twisted. What else is gonna happen? It was, the flamingos turned to a sign or omen of danger. And they're never that sign. Flamingos are always peaceful and fun, you know? Then the same thing with the deer. Deer are always seen as peaceful. And even if you look up what do, you know, deer mean in your dreams, or when deers cross you and you see a mother and the fawn, what does that mean? It's always a very, very blissful, kind, beautiful, healing, helpful, benevolent energy. But in this, it was none of that. It was evil. Are they gonna die? They about to kill them and eat them. Like all of our emotions. This is where neurocinematics comes in, which is the science of how the brain is affected by cinema. It's a whole field that's studied in universities and everything, right? This is how movies are made. So how do you go and you take something that naturally will bring you peace, but turn it into something that makes you uneasy and fearful and scared? This is what they did in this film. But in order to explain who that deer was, we got to go back to Julia Roberts' character. And Julia Roberts dated Matthew Perry, who played Chandler on Friends. Now, we know Friends was probably, out of everything in the movie, was the most constant theme. From beginning to end, it kept talking about, it started with Friends and it ended with Friends. And we don't know that Julia Roberts played a character named Susie, you know? Susie Underpants actually was her name on Friends, because when Chandler was younger in school, he went to school with Susie, who Julia Roberts was playing, and one day on stage when she was presenting, he lifted her skirt up and everybody saw her panties. So she, to a woman, you know what I mean? And then that's also like, that's symbolic to America, where how America is deep state and trafficking children and killing young black men and holding down the black family and killing people with all these chemicals in the food, but they making it look all pretty like the Wizard of Oz, you know what I mean? And pulling that skirt up like Marilyn Monroe going over that vent, seeing them drawers. You know, Biggie said that in Can't You See? You know, what's under that skirt? You know what I'm saying? That's interesting. So in this episode, fast forward in the future, they run back into each other, and she's grown and everything. So Chandler's into her, so they go out on a date, and she talks him into wearing her panties on some sexual stuff. So once again, emasculating the man, right? What a man doing with panties on. So she goes to try the panties on in the bathroom, and she leaves him there, and he gets stuck in a bathroom in a restaurant with panties on as a payback, as revenge, right? And the name of the episode was called The One After the Super Bowl, Super Bowl 30, right? Where it was the Dallas Cowboys defeating the Pittsburgh Steelers at Sun Devil Stadium, right? So ironically enough, they dated in real life.
Oh, wow.
Okay, yes. And his character's name is not just Chandler, it's Chandler Moriel Bing.
It's that last name.
So we talked earlier about the Admiralty Law and the Common Law and Moors. And we know L and Bay are both titles that go on the end of the name, you know, when you address Moors, right? But Moriel is an angel of death. This is also known as Abaddon. It's a place, it's another name for hell, and it's another name for a bottomless pit or an abyss, someone of destruction and despair. This is what this entity represents. Wow. And why would you name a character Moriel? Why would you put that as his middle name?
It's very specific.
Very specific, right? And what makes it even more specific is the fact that Matthew Perry died on Julia Roberts' birthday. You know, October 28th, the same day as the solar eclipse, which they showed in the movie.
Yes.
From the perspective of the moon.
Yep.
You know, and the way that you know the eclipse is also tied to Matthew Perry is because in the following scene, after they show the eclipse, the camera sideways, they hand Julia Roberts water. He died in water because he died in a hot tub, you know? They saying that it was over ketamine, which is a drug that's used for anesthesia and also for depression, right? That people use recreationally. So they hand Julia Roberts the water. She gets up and she checks her son Archie. Archie gets up. That's when his teeth start falling out. And what's ironic is Matthew Perry, because of his drug habit, his teeth fell out. He didn't have his teeth anymore. So that was another thing that was very interesting that they showed in the film to directly align with this Friends character.
Come on, bro. I'm loving this, man. So, Amanda, again, I'm not letting her off the hook.
No.
By any means, bro.
She got to get it. She got to get it. She got to get it all.
For sure. But seeing her, right, represent a Karen of loving Black culture but not Black people.
Right.
Her daughter, I see those same things being passed on. Average viewer, you know, they'll probably say, Rose, she's innocent. But then I'm like, she loves Friends, but living single was first.
That's right.
So please break down for us why Friends was even created in the first place.
Well, yeah, Friends was created back in September 1994 as an answer to Living Single, which came out like August 93 the previous year. So we all know Living Single was a hit. We loved Living Single, Ray James, Sinclair, all of them, Khadijah, you know, Maxine Shaw, attorney at law, Kyle Overton, like that was our joint. And even though it was called Living Single, they still promoted Black love, Black unity. These women were living together, but they had two men. There's a man that owned the building,
Yeah.
right? You know
Wow.
what I mean? And that was a handyman,
Mm-hmm.
you know, who knew how to fix everything. You know, he was from the South, from the country, wholesome dude. And anytime they was in trouble, they knew that they can depend upon these two men, you know, to come down there and help them. And they ended up actually connecting with them. You know, Maxine and Kyle got together. You know, Overton and Sinclair got together, so it was a lot of love, and they was just killing it. And then NBC put Friends together as an answer to it, and then also a lot of sabotage started happening behind the scenes to the show, and then the show ended up getting canceled after 5 seasons, while Friends continued on. And you know, they went a full 10 years, so they got to run twice as long as Living Single did. But when you look at Living Single versus Friends, you're looking at symbolically, are you comfortable with yourself? Can you look in the mirror? You know, we live in an era of socialism, right? Which is communism, right? And are you able to deal with who you are? Are you content with yourself and your spirit? Can you be to yourself? Can you be all right without having the stimulation of all these social medias and a bunch of people distracting you all the time?
Yeah.
You know, can you quiet yourself? Can you be still? You know, or do you need friends?
Yeah.
And if you need friends, are they real friends?
Do you need friends?
You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
Because friends are supposed to be people that you connect with, that connect with you, and technically they're family. They're not even friends, you know. But when you getting into likes, right, and friends and followers and everything, like you never meet. You might have 1 million followers. You haven't met 900,000 of them. You haven't met 999,000 of them. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
But yet, you know, these are supposed to be people that you connected with, that are your friends, that like you and support you and everything like that. So we have this false sense of what friends even mean. It's as real as a sitcom.
Let that sit with you on that one. For sure. Man, it was a line in the film, and I'm not sure who said it, but if I had to guess, I think it was Clay. But someone has said that the silence is so loud. Right.
Exactly.
I'm like, to your point.
That's it.
Once the phones are gone, the TV silence is just too painful.
Look, if you deal with women that are millennium women, these are women that are like in their late 20s, early 30s right now, right? They'll all agree with this, all right? Because I know. When they study, read, or have to do anything that requires focus, right? They need music or TV or something playing in the background.
Can't be quiet.
They cannot focus in quiet and in peace.
Oh, man.
You know what I'm saying? They need noise.
Wow. I got noise right now.
Right, that's what I'm saying. This is how you know. This is real. You know what I'm saying? This is how it happens. They need that noise in the background.
That's crazy, man. And you can't make this up.
That's what you call the divine. You know what I'm saying? When you speak truth, it hit. Because I don't want no woman in the comments talking about, he don't know what he's talking about. I'll be like, all right.
It just happened.
Right. So why that, you know what I'm saying? Why that just went down like that?
Was made.
So they need that noise and everything up in the background. So a lot of people don't even know how to deal with peace or deal with silence, because what's going to happen? You're gonna hear yourself. And what are you gonna tell yourself? What are you doing? You need to get up. You need to get this done. You're wasting your time. Do this. Why aren't you working on this? This ain't you, blah, 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 blah. And you don't want to hear that because the recreation, the drugs, the drink, the TV, the social media, the places you got to go, they're all distractions from your purpose and who you're really supposed to be, you know? So I remember there was a scene where the emergency broadcast comes on, and while everyone's asleep, because they kept panning the camera. It was real deep how they kept showing the camera work in this movie was fantastic. One of
turned sideways a lot too.
When Julia Roberts first got to the house and she walks in, I think I forget where Clay went. He was somewhere at the moment, but she walked in. This was right before she was going to go to the store. She goes up the steps and they got like a drone or something, because how they caught that scene
of her walking
and
upstairs.
then they phase out of the house and then they watch her as she's walking. That was a phenomenal shot. Then she laid on the bed, and this is the bed where the calm waters were, right?
Because it was calm in the moment.
Because
everybody's relaxed
in the moment, right? But one of the scenes where they panned the camera through the floors, where they would actually show in between the floors and everything, and they went downstairs. The emergency broadcast went from white noise to the a scene from the news finally coming through, and it showed an image of the states in red, white, and black, and there was a QR code on there, right? So this QR code, if you scan the QR code, a lot of people don't know if you could scan this QR code.
Hey, where does it take you to, KT?
The QR code takes you to Mercer County, and specifically to a old amusement park. And the people who own this land, their name was Clay. Yeah, the Mitchells, specifically Clay Mitchell.
Serendipitous, man.
Right. So his name is Clay, right? So you read the story, and the story replicates the film, because it's about these Caucasian people, right, that ended up coming up on Indian land. And when we say Indian, you know, even when you look at Killers of the Flower Moon, you know, they're going to show a certain type of Indian, not knowing that we're Indians. We're indigenous people. We're the Aboriginals. You know, you got Indian in your family. Of course, I got Indian. I am. Because I am. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
But they talk about him coming on this land, and the indigenous people that were already on the land was like, yo, what are you doing here? You can't just come and set up shop, bro. You got to go. Didn't listen. So ended up snatching his kids up, burnt one at the stake. So then he went and got his people, and they came and they just massacred all the indigenous people and just took the land, because he took it a kind of way because of what he did to his children. But I'm like, he told you to leave. You didn't leave off the land. Lord knows what else y'all did.
Warned you.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that was retaliation, and then you retaliate the retaliator, you know? So the land is haunted, you know? So the amusement park that they built, you know, a little girl died on the swings, a kid drowned, you know, and they have this thing called the Dark Festival there every October, which is the same month Matthew Perry died, Julia Roberts' birthday.
October 28th.
The trailer came out, right?
Wow. Something about that October.
And this is Scorpio energy.
That's
and Julia Roberts and Ethan Hawke, Amanda and Clay are both Scorpios. Ooh. Yeah, it's all integrated.
Yo, listen, man, and we about to cook even more, KT. So that scene, right? Julia Roberts walking upstairs. Clay was actually downstairs cooking, which is actually crazy now thinking about that.
Yeah.
She's upstairs getting settled in, chilling, and he's cooking. Now, it was a baseball game, KT. Who was playing? It was the Braves, and they were doing
the tomahawk chop. Now, I didn't even catch that one.
I was like, yo, nobody sees us, the Braves.
The Atlanta Braves.
He's in New York. Why is he watching the Braves game? And then the tomahawk happening.
The tomahawk chop.
So, to your point.
The indigenous people, Indian burial grounds, and also fascia. You know what I'm saying? Because of the axe, you know what I mean? The retaliation, letting the hammer drop. All of that is interesting. He's watching that though, but he's up there cutting it up. That's nothing against men cooking.
Of course, but
you know, but we got to look at this. We got to look at the dynamics of the film. You know what I'm saying? And he's up there cooking, and then she rewards him with a box of cigarettes, and then couldn't even get no play from his wife.
He did bring that up, and she walked away.
That's what I'm saying.
She patted him on the back.
Man,
you're right.
Y'all on vacation, bro.
You're right.
He cooking.
He's like, I'm trying to get the brownie points. Wow, I see what you're saying.
And then she walked off, and then she was like, all right, I'll give you 15 minutes. She put a time on it. She didn't say, I love you, baby. Come on, baby. Or you didn't. There was never a time you ever saw any type of intimacy between them. Another thing that was missing besides the intimacy was God.
Very interesting. You're right. Never brought up.
The only time God was mentioned was by Rose, because she told that story about the West Wing. Right?
Yep.
So she tells the story about a man that lives in a town.
Yeah.
And on the radio, he gets word that the river that he lives by, right, is going to flood and going to flood the town. So he prays to God and asks God to save him so that he does not die based on the flooding of this town. Protect him and keep him safe. So a boat comes after the flooding starts. He doesn't get on the boat. The people like, why you ain't getting on the boat? I prayed to God. God got me.
Yep.
Helicopter comes, yo, we're gonna put the ladder down, come climb up the ladder. Nah, bro, I'm good because God got my back. I'm straight. So the town floods and he dies and he goes up to heaven. And my thing is, that's another part of the story. Why he went up to heaven? He didn't listen to God. That's another catch, right?
He didn't obey. Huh?
Right, he did not obey, right? So then he goes up, he goes up to heaven and talks to God. He's like, yo, I prayed to you. Why didn't you save me? He was like, yo, I put it on the radio.
That's right.
I sent the boat. I sent the helicopter. What else you want from me? And the mother was like, what did you get from that? And she's like, I'm tired of waiting. And that's the people that are tired of the naysayers. You know, you tell people you seeing signs, you seeing 11/11s, you having dreams, you noticing certain things. They're like, oh, you tripping. Oh, that's just conspiracy. Oh, you wasting your time. You know what I mean? You keep ignoring the signs. And it's like, you need to really take heed to the warnings, and you also need to appreciate the signs that God provides and the divine provides and that your ancestors are providing to you, you know? And speaking of Rose, he had obeyed, she had NASA. So, you know, that's obey NASA. And, you know, NASA lies all the time. You know, we got the moon landings and Apollo landings and everything like that. If you look at the footage of the moon buggy, like it's a miniature and it's a toy on there. If you pull up the moon buggy driving around right now, you're gonna be like, this dude, he ain't even moving. He like this, bouncing up. It's a toy. And I'm looking at this module they got off. I'm like, where was the buggy on the module? Y'all pulled this whole giant Range Rover out this thing and constructed it? Where did the buggy come from? Where did y'all put the buggy when y'all left? I'm just real confused about a lot of that stuff. How did you film it? Is my
question. In the
right,
60s.
That's the number
Let's start with
one.
the basics.
Where was the cameraman?
Where's the SD card?
You know what I'm saying? They sent the email to the dark side of the moon, and one of the moon people was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna come through."
Airdrop
you know what I'm saying? With the red camera, and I got y'all. You know what I'm saying?
Like, say less.
And then the other thing was, they all the way out in the moon, and you know, Richard Nixon talked to them on the phone.
Dang,
because we know. We know AT&T strong, bro.
But that's strong.
You know what I'm saying?
They got that Verizon.
And you can't, and they couldn't even ride through the forest in the movie and keep the signal on Friends, but you could talk to the moon in the 70s, though.
Laid back in the crib.
But yeah, what do I know?
Hey, that's neither here nor there, huh?
But NASA in Hebrew means to deceive.
Yep.
If you look up the word NASA in Hebrew, NASA, it means to deceive.
That is a fact.
Right? And the red part in NASA is actually a T. So NASA actually is an anagram for the word Satan. Because NASA, and then you got the T in there, and you put that in there, then you move the letters around, you know, and you got that. So lot of devil, you know, references up in the film, you know, and Rose, you know, Rose Accrucian, she represents nature because she's the rose, you know, she wasn't as wise, but she was the most wise out of all of them because she's the one that found the house.
She was wise enough.
And the house that she found was called, the name of the people that stayed there, their last name was Thorns.
Yeah.
So we already know about the crown of thorns.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
Or we can even talk about spike proteins and COVID. You know what I'm saying? So we got the crown of thorns going on, and then with the house itself, it had a red door, and the symbolism of red doors in film represents like Exodus, when they would have to put the blood, Passover. You know, Passover, put the blood over the door so that demon, that entity, that energy that was coming through, taking all of the children's lives, right, would pass over.
That's right.
You know, so that's what she was doing. She was trying to avoid that death. And it's funny because who was the firstborn in their family? Archie, and you saw he was
He
dying.
was taken. Come on
Yeah,
now.
he was dying.
Come on, KT.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Okay, so look, on that same point, right? Archie, once again, lost in the sauce,
Lost
man.
in the
Not paying
sauce.
attention. Y'all, check out this scene. Very poignant. They are in the woods, right? Rose actually saw that house earlier in the film and was trying to tell Archie, hey, look. But what was Archie doing, KT? On that phone.
Yeah, he was on that phone, not paying attention to him.
Bit by a
got
bug.
bit by the bug or tick, parasite,
seemed
something
like a tick.
that. And then how ignorant was he about it? He just ripped it out and just wiped his foot and kept it moving. If you got something suckling at your leg, first thing you want to do is look and observe what you got. If it's a tick, you got to put some Vaseline or something like that on there. Now, people think, oh man, KT, you can't use Vaseline. That's not healthy. I'm not using it for moisturizing purposes. You use it to suffocate the tick.
That's right.
So it could back his head out. Because if you just rip it off, then all of the impurities of that tick, that poison, is going to go right in that blood.
It showed it and he was pulling it out.
That's right.
Wow.
And shoot all through the system.
Wow.
You know, and when you combine that with the noise, right?
Yeah.
So they attacked with the direct energy weapons. So when we talk about direct energy weapons, because water was a symbol in this movie too. They was filling the tub up with the water. It was raining.
Yep.
The blue energy.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Danny was packing water up at the store.
Blue. The pool light, it was blue.
The pool light was blue. The pool outside, you know, it was a lot of water references. And DEW, right, is the first water, right, in the day, but it stands for direct energy weapons. And that's what was used to reset our reality the last time. So we think that when we look at our history, everything's in chronological order, but there's a lot of centuries actually missing in our history because we know history goes to the victor. If somebody wins, for instance, Pasteur, right? Louis Pasteur won the war against Antoine Béchamp, right? Terrain theory versus germ theory. So now we got vaccines because he won, right? And his story, his history is the history that rings true, that we all follow by, right?
His story.
But that don't mean it's the reality of the situation. It's the truth that was forced upon everybody because of the victor. So the same thing goes with history. And we just think about it on the terms of, oh, they don't talk about slavery and they don't acknowledge that enough. You know what I mean? But it's even deeper than that. It's even deeper than that in the fact that we are, what's the best way to put it? We are in a world, a new world that exists on top of a multitude of other worlds. And we know this when we go here in Atlanta, we go downtown Atlanta, we'll see a lot of buildings with 1/8 of the windows showing over the curb.
Yeah.
That building goes down 4 or 5 floors because at one point in time, that was the ground. So there was a mud flood that covered this whole planet. I mean, remember the pyramids back in the day, it was all the way almost up to the Ben stone. The Sphinx was buried.
Wow.
We forget that all this stuff was buried and things was excavated out. Where did all that mud and dirt and sediment come from? You know? So there was a situation where direct energy weapons was you use the right frequencies, you can melt rock. You could use the right frequencies that can cause you to not be able to hear anything. And you saw they was attacked with some type of sound weapon that essentially created radiation that resulted in Archie breaking down even further, you know? So yeah, I say I tell them to look up the orphan trains and look up how the origin of asylums, these big asylums, you know what I'm saying?
Huge buildings.
Yeah, and look up the mud flood and look up Tartary and Tartarians and the Tartarian history, and it'll blow your mind, you know, and go around your city and you'll start seeing structures that if you look at the buildings of today, they're not built to last. But when you look at some of these structures in these cities, especially when you go on tours,
Still standing.
they're still standing. Not only are they still standing, you cannot figure out how they were built. And the buildings were built in a way to tap into the ether, because Earth is a realm more than it is a planet.
Come on.
All right?
Yeah.
And the realm of Earth is saturated, inundated with power and energy to be tapped into. And the buildings used to be created with functionality to tap into said energy and transfer energy into the home. So you didn't need all of this other stuff because all the energy was free and ambient around you to tap into. So they were taught, they tapped into the DO energy weapons. The AI was referenced because of the Tesla scene.
Bro, speaking about that scene, right?
Mhm.
Clay, man, I'm sorry just to,
No,
Ethan Hawke's just constantly killing him.
He dropped the ball. He was
Yo.
just telling us what not to do. So I got to give hats off to Ethan
Gave
Hawke.
up the steering wheel, man.
Yeah, he gave it up.
Representation. And then a few days later, KT, Tesla in real life.
Recalled.
Wow.
Recalled 2 million of their cars because of over 1,000 crashes over the past year from the automated. So them showing that and them showing the drone, as well as them saying the nav systems up and down the coast, they just kept cyber attack, GH working for the being a cyber security. It all it connected me to AI. You know what I'm saying? Because even the cabal was like, yo, nobody's in control anymore. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So it just made me feel like it was an AI thing, even though, in reality, we know all these nations are banding together against America on some Sinister Six stuff. You know what I'm saying? But it made me feel like it was AI, doing all of that.
So one scene, right? Clay, he's driving, and in that scene, you see that jet, and it's like, oh, I don't know what they're dropping, but it's like a red fluid.
It looked like mist and chemicals.
Caught up to him. I'm like, yo, you about to get taken out this early in the film?
And it was pamphlets. It was pamphlets.
What were they saying on the pamphlets?
So it's weird. So if you get someone to translate the Arabic, it pretty much says on there, not verbatim, but it pretty much says that, we got, some very serious weapons that you've never seen before. They're very destructive. We just want y'all to peacefully give y'all land up. You know what I mean? We're here to take your land and take your resources. So we just want y'all to peacefully give it up. Pretty much colonialism, right? What they did to us, right? But if you feed it into ChatGPT, it says something totally different. It pretty much says, this is a call for help. Somebody please help me. I'm working with someone and he told me his name is Azazel, right? And there's things that I agreed to do that I don't want to do anymore. I can't go to the police because I think they in on it too. Someone please help me. This is what ChatGPT say it says. So we got two things. So it's almost like the pamphlet got encrypted, where you have to translate it a certain way in order to understand it. Where did it come from? Did it come from the director? Because he directed the film, but he wasn't in control. The Obamas was in control.
Trying to send us a message.
Yeah.
That's heavy, man.
And the production crew was shook during the whole filming of this because of how specific Obama was with getting things right. Whew. Like they had to redo things like, no, this ain't, no, just like this, just like this. For instance, the tattoos on Ruth's character. I'm saying Ruth had tattoos all over. She had a ram on her.
She did.
Represents Aries. Aries is in April.
Yeah.
Right? April is supposed to be where the movie Civil War comes out, which is pretty much a sequel to this film. They doing the Marvel shared universe and not even telling nobody, right? She also has another writing on her that says Safad. And Safad is a term in Hebrew and I think in Arabic as well that deals with the 4 levels of teachings So it deals with a hitting occult teaching, right? So that they got that on there too. So pretty much like a secret, you know, and a code or to decode. She got the 96 on her.
Yep.
She got full written on her too. So she got all of these different tattoos on her, and when you put them together, it all translates into telling you something. And you get this answer at the end of the movie when Rose walks into the she's already in the Thorne's residence. And the first time we see her, she eating all the food and
good,
all that,
huh?
right? Eating real good. But she goes to the door, and the door says, Commodus, to the bunker. And it's like, who's Commodus? Well, everybody done heard the phrase from a movie, are you not entertained?
Yep, from Gladiator.
Are you not entertained?
Russell Crowe, Maximus.
Right, Maximus. But who was the guy in charge?
That's who was fighting.
Commodus.
He used to do
Right.
Yeah.
And Commodus was the one that got defeated. And when he was defeated in the war, that marked the fall of Rome. Right? Which then followed and resulted in the Civil War that started in April. Once again, Aries, right? Once again, Aries, and then the character Ruth, she's an Aries.
Yeah.
Her birthday's April 6th, right? So it started in April and lasted for 4 years. You know, so you have that as the end of the movie right there. You know, which I found was extremely interesting.
It was, man.
Yeah. That Commodus, you know. Now, other things that we saw in the background in the basement of the house, in GH house, where they were staying at, you know, you saw a lot of his family and people on the wall.
Yeah.
Right? They had the boats up there. They had the people real distinguished, and that just was to reinforce our past in this country. Like we were not all slaves. Like we were prisoners of war, right? And we were people that were not all dusty with tattered clothes until certain people came around and showed us civilization, and then we was like, oh, we want brick houses too. No. We was building, we was construction, we was doing all of this. We were living it up. And we were very distinguished, we were very cultured, we were very educated, you know, and it's even to this day, our style is utilized and plagiarized and inspired. So it's nothing new. We've always been that foundation principle. So it was very interesting to show those pictures in the scene because they were all in black and white.
Yep.
So it was showing you it was back in the day, and it was going back further and further to just show like money been in the family.
It's not new.
It's nothing new.
Wow.
You know? But even with all the money he got, he still, and I can't even say he was an employee or worked for anybody. He had a client who was part of the cabal. And cabal, you know, shadow government, you know, group of individuals. And I tell people cabal is cube ball because masonry is compass square. And the cube and the ball is the higher dimensionality of the square and the circle. So when you take a compass, you make a circle. When you take a square, you make a square. When you take a compass, you make curves or the 9, right? Which is the feminine or the female principle. And when you take a we take a square, you make a line as in masculine, which is the male principle.
That's right. So
this is what cabal, that's what that energy is representing, right? And he's talking about, we up out of here. You know what I'm saying? So masonry and cabal energy was reflected in the movie because, you know, the York Rite aspect of masonry was shown in the fact they was in Long Island, and that's New York. So that's the York Rite.
Yes.
You know, but then the Scottish Rite, his last name was Scott. And it was nothing but blue throughout the whole movie, which is their color.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So they showed that there. And then the Kabbalistic aspect of it dealt with the 2 pillars that exist on both sides of the Kabbalah, which is the same pillars that are Yakin and Boaz in Masonry, which represent the male and female principle. The male principle is mercy. So this is why GH and Clay was mad soft and merciful, you know, and apologetic.
Yeah.
But Ruth was ruthless.
Ruth was ruthless.
And Amanda was Amanda. You know what I'm saying? They were severe. They were very severe. They was at each other's throat throughout the whole film. She wasn't pulling no punches, you know? And they you know, they showed that symbolism there too.
One major layup, if you will, and I was proud of people. I'm like, okay, like people starting to decode like you a little bit. 1619 on the frequency.
Yes.
Why did it show that? Because President Obama, he knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
Why put 1619?
Well, one, back to the White Lion, that was the year that the boat actually arrived in Point Comfort, which is the same city that was that exit that they was getting off of to stay at. That's where G.H. Scott's house was in Comfort Point.
Wow.
So 1619 was actually the year the White Lion came to shore.
Wow.
But 1619 is also a project by some of the editors of the New York Times called Project 1619, talking about the United States beginnings and dealing with slavery's role in the United States, you know, all the way up to today. Yeah. And it aired and was published in 2019, exactly 400 years to the date.
1619 Project. So we got that shown in the film. In the ending, right? You have Rose,
right,
in the House of Thorn, going downstairs in the bunker. She's straight. Everybody else is scrambling. It's pure chaos going on outside. Yeah. Instead of her trying to work out a little bit, read some books, she chooses friends, and she looks so fulfilled from that blue light. What did you think when you saw that? Yeah,
so she goes down there. They got the exercise equipment. Got plants growing. They got plants growing down there. So you got life just in case things get wiped out, to the point, because not too long ago, she didn't see it, but Ruth and Amanda saw the bombs getting dropped in New York, right? So plant life is going to be everything. They got the pantry with some wild stuff up in that pantry too. Y'all need to pause and look at that pantry. But then she and then books, was big, all these books, but then she sees the DVDs. And then she looks and finds Friends, and she pops the Friends, and it's called The Last One. Now, The Last One is interesting because Chandler, Matthew Perry, was the last one casted on Friends. Wow. He's the last one that got casted on that show. But then you also got the last will be first, the first will be last in the Bible, you see? So she puts that in there because, you know, to her, that's her belief system. Every time she kept going to the family to try and find out, why isn't this working? I just want to know the end. I want to know how this ends. If we take away the aspect of it just being friends and it being what it is to a child, Looney Tunes, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is everything, right? Anime is God, to certain children. That's their religion, you know? So as you being the two parents, Julia Roberts, you actually was on Friends, right? And then Ethan Hawke, you the father, Clay. There wasn't one moment they even said, you know what, you might not be able to see this, so let me tell you what happened. Y'all are two white parents. Y'all know y'all saw the season finale of Friends. Stop playing.
Why not just tell her?
Stop playing. Just tell her what it is. But this is equivalent to a child saying, how does this end? Death, heaven, hell.
I don't want to tell you.
Right? All that.
Yeah.
They didn't even respond to her. Right? So that was like salvation. Because remember, it was thorns, then it was the red door. You see what I'm saying? So you got all of these religious aspects happening. And then she goes and she found it herself. And she was able to, the face that she had was like melancholy. She was happy, but it was so sad at the same time looking at her like that. And even though she was the youngest, they picked the right girl because she got an old face.
Yeah, she does.
She looked aged.
Very pale.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Pale, very aged and everything like that. But that's her bathing in the blue light, choosing the artificiality, the false world, over the real world. And that's where the youth is. They're all on the tablets. They rather be in the metaverse, right? They rather be video games and on social media right? Streaming, Twitch, and doing all that stuff, as opposed to actually being around people, playing cards around the campfire, you know, doing real world things amongst each other. They rather live in that light and bathe in the blue light than actually be in the natural light of the sun.
KT, I gotta ask you this one question, man, too, as well, on the way out, man. In the film, of course, G.A. Scott, he's the man. Like, everybody knows that. However, his contractor, Redneck, he pulls up on him, and then that whole power dynamic, it just shifted. Now he has the gun. Now he's pointing at him.
That's right.
And I was like, yo, he want to call him boy so bad. Like, I could just feel those vibes. What did that represent of a black man who had influence, a fluent black man who had the power, everything, but then now the money means nothing. Like, it's all about natural resources in that moment.
So P-POW, it was called the one after the Super Bowl, and the Super Bowl was at Sun Devil Stadium. And who won that Super Bowl?
Cowboys.
What type of hat?
Oh, he was. Oh, man. And bro, I noticed that too, because I was like,
he mentioned it earlier. He was like the guy with the he wears a cowboy hat.
And I'm like, he's acting like a cowboy. Cowboys and Indians.
Yeah. And if you look at the Civil War trailer, what's the two states that seceded? One of them was Texas, that the president was talking about in the trailer of the movie. So he had higher ground. It was alluding to their production.
Had higher ground.
He was up on the porch, standing up
GH
with the gun.
And Clay.
You know what I'm saying?
Down. Wow.
And GH just kept ignoring his daughter. His daughter was like, yo, because this is the second night we sleeping in the basement of our own house. See, this is the type of stuff that gets you killed.
We staying in the ghettos.
You know what I mean?
Wow.
We staying in the ghettos. We living in the impoverished areas in one of the most beautiful lands on the planet, right? Or in this realm, right? And then when he going to help Archie and Clay, right? Rather than stay and keep his daughter protected. She was like, yo, and program the clock and everything. And guess what?
He wasn't there.
Wasn't there when it went on.
We aren't protecting our own.
Right.
We're trying to save everybody else.
So yeah, he pulled the gun out, but he pulled it out late. And he didn't have higher ground either. So he wasn't in a position of advantage in that situation. And what saved him was the total humility and almost emasculation to a degree of Clay's character. He had to literally cry and whimper and beg this man.
GH, bro, he kept it G. He was like, yo, he's bluffing.
To take his money.
Wow.
Not even for the help, not even for the pills. It was more to take this stack. And it wasn't even his stack. It's GH's stack.
Wow. Emasculated again.
You know what I mean?
Yo. KT, man, bro, tell me this, brother. Like, on the way out, what should people gain from this film, Leaving the World Behind? And its title too, which I found.
Well, I'll tell you one last gem in this movie that'll sum it up. So Clay, gotta always go back to Clay, because the men gotta pay attention to what not to do. So the wife is tripping. Not tripping. Julia Roberts is going off on him one morning in the bed, like, yo, why are you so calm? Which isn't a problem.
She did.
We're supposed to be stoic, but we're supposed to be stoic and still get things done.
He was asleep.
He's asleep again.
And she's trying to find solutions, checking her phone notifications.
So his answer was, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna run into town and get me a newspaper. Right? I'm gonna run in town, gave her a kiss. I'm gonna run in town, find some people, get newspapers, see what's going on, right? In other words, I'm running. I'm escapism. I'm gonna continue to sleep.
Wow.
So he goes in the car, he drives off. This is before the drone, this is before the Spanish lady.
Right.
Spanish lady who pretty much was saying, yo, I've been walking all day. My phone's not working. Can I use your phone? I saw this plane spraying this red mist, because from a distance that's what it looked like. That's what she was saying in Spanish, and he just dipped on her. But the first time he pulls over and he realizes he's lost because he don't got the GPS. And as men, we're supposed to know north, south.
Direction.
It's deep. He's looking for a newspaper, and newspaper is an acronym for North, east, west,
South.
south,
Wow.
present and past event report.
Wow, break it down.
Right? Event report.
Wow.
So he don't know north, east, west, south. He don't know the news. He don't know what's going on. He's lost. He passed the horse facing the other way because that was the old method of transportation, right? That's how we used to get around, right? He stopped by a sign that said Taney Farms.
Yeah, I saw that.
And Taney,
talk about Taney Farms.
Taney is the judge.
Yep. Dred
right?
Scott, right?
Roger Taney is the judge with the Dred Scott case.
That's right.
And the Dred Scott case is the case that proves that, if you claiming to be a citizen, you can't be free at the same time because citizen is a slave. A 14th Amendment citizen is slave, and you cannot claim to be free and be that at the same time.
Yes, sir.
Exactly.
Yes.
So that right there, when you say, okay, what do people want to walk away with? Walk away with that. Walk away with the fact that you know that this is your land. This has always, it courses through you. It's in your DNA. You go, this land is a very ancient land. Do not think for 1 minute that a bunch of Asians came over the Bering Strait because they just found our people's remnants off the coast of Florida that's, I think, 7,000 years older than the time of the Bering Strait.
And we have more pyramids in the Americas opposed to in Africa.
That's right.
Mississippi River is the same as the Nile.
That's what a lot of the mounds are too. Some of these mounds are covered pyramids. Some of the pyramids are just below us because the flood covered everything up.
Man, yo, KT, I got to tell you this too. Off of 285 West, right?
Yes.
Here in Atlanta, there's a big mound.
Yeah.
Waste Management has like one of their main trucks.
There's
on
a
top
few
of
those,
that,
right? By the Moreland, by
Chattahoochee.
Moreland Avenue.
Right by the
Yeah.
Chattahoochee. Moreland Avenue. Wow. Everybody from Atlanta, y'all, please tap into this. You can't make this
Moreland, man. Yeah,
Wow.
for sure. For sure. I mean, if you drive up 75, you'll see all type of magical stuff going from here all the way up to Ohio and Detroit and everything.
Wow.
You know, and listen, we were kings over here. We were great people over here. It's a very rich land. And what's happening now is, we constantly get distracted so that people can excavate all the resources. Another reason for the flamingos, right, has to deal with the same thing with the Tesla cars, right? The Tesla cars are electric cars. Everybody want to get an electric car. They think they saving the environment. Ain't no climate change going on based on carbon footprints. The climate change is based on the fact that this realm goes through heating and cooling cycles, right? So it gets hot and it gets cold.
It's cyclical.
Right? It's cyclical.
Yeah.
So these electric cars are not a benefit to the environment. They're actually worse than the combustion engines because the amount of excavation you have to do for the minerals that go into those batteries, right, are not sustainable. In addition to that, you think you getting all this from your charged battery. Everything you roll the windows down, that takes from the battery. You turn the radio on, you turn the AC on, you do anything in that car, it's taken away from the battery. You charge and charge and charge it. And the batteries is based on lithium mines. Guess who's suffering from the lithium mines in South America? The flamingos. Okay, 3 out of the 6 type of flamingos that exist on the planet,
Talking about 50% basically.
Live in the Andes. And they are getting displaced and killed because of them draining the lakes that they feed off of these plankton and these sea creatures that contain a particular bacteria in it that has this pigment, right? And it's kind of like xanthocin, right? And this colored pigment is what turns flamingos from this dull gray muddy color when they little to this brilliant pink, right?
Wow.
But because they're draining the lakes, they're messing up the ecosystem of the plankton and the bacteria and stuff in this lake, so they don't have anything to feed on, so they're leaving. You see what I'm saying? So that's another reason why we saw, because of showing the whole change of going from the combustion engine to the electric, You know what I mean? And we saw what happened with them Teslas. You know, this man was driving his car as a man is supposed to be behind the wheel, not just literally in the car, but also symbolically in life with his family. And he's like, oh yeah, somebody's coming. Wait him down, babe.
We good. We
and
good.
she's the intuitive one. She
right.
like, yo, this ain't right. Yo, get out the car. That was her saying, you know what? You about to kill our family. It's time for me to take the wheel.
I got us, babe.
Yeah, I got us now.
KT, man, on the site, you got some sales going on. It's about to go live. Talk to me about that, man, before we leave.
Yes, so we doing the 50% off sale. So
you already know I'm tapping in with that one.
We know with the bunker, what was it all about? It was about stocking up in preparation.
Right.
So don't wait till you got a chronic condition to get superfoods. Be preventative. So I got a half off sale, right? Starting on December 20th, right? And this sale is going to allow you to get half off any item that's on the site, so you can stock, you can get a good number of things. Most of my stuff is non-perishables, so you can put it in your pantry, put it in the cabinet. The Nessu Nectar honey lasts indefinitely. You know, just don't refrigerate it and you good. So I have that sale going on. I have an upcoming event in Denver, Colorado. Called Empowerment 2024. Queen Afua, 19 Keys is gonna be there.
Hey, don't be getting too high over there, man.
Hey, you know, I can't make no promises, baby. I'm gonna be on higher ground.
Hey, come on.
I'll
literally
be on higher ground. You know what I'm
baby.
saying?
Yeah, for sure.
So I'll be there. That'll be the 15th and the 16th of January.
Martin
Luther King.
I was just gonna say that.
Weekend, ironically enough. You know, and what else I got coming? You know, I be on Rich's channel. I've been doing a lot more lives on my channel. So KT the Arch Degree is going to be YouTube, Instagram,
interviews
TikTok.
too, man. That was dope. Hey, Dr. Moore.
Oh yeah, we have a part 2 coming up.
Say less.
We got a part 2, and then Mr. G, we're going to be interviewing each other.
Nice.
You know, so he's going to be interviewing me about some stuff. I'm going to interview him. So we're going to do kind of a back and forth. We got that coming.
I love that.
More part 2 is coming. And I got a couple other people lined up. That I'm very interested in picking their brain.
Let's get it.
So we got a few things that we're working on.
Hey, you cooking, man. Yo, KT, man, I appreciate the phone call, brother. Always honored, man. This was another dope session. I think this might have been like the 6th time. So, yo, we on the Michael Jordan.
Yeah. Come on, we're on the 6th now,
for sure, brother. Man, thank you, bro. Anytime, bro. If you ever see anything dope, or you know, if you ever just want to tap in, bro. Again, I'm only one phone call, text message away, and I got you, brother. But y'all, he just decoded that. He bodied that, man. Watch the film again. Open up that third eye and actually observe, analyze. Take notes, man. But I appreciate y'all so much. Make sure to keep liking, commenting, subscribing, all that good stuff. Share the content. Comment to us, talk to us. Body of God, Brother Chase, Voice of the Ancestors, man. Tap in with the merch, the hats, all that good stuff as well. Again, blessed be your host, Caleb Smith. Until next time, peace.